Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Per usual when this thing happens, Pluggo, literally seconds before we're about to go on the air, just disappears. Just absolutely disappears, leaving me by myself to start this show. So I'm going to start the show by myself until Mr. Pluggo decides to hop back on here. This is not the first time this has happened, but it better goddamn be the last. Hello, 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 everyone. It's 8 p.m. on Thursday. There's one beard here right now. And you know what that means. It's another episode of Between Two Beards. Your best friend, Wordsmith, dropped off mere seconds. And when I say seconds, I mean literally seconds before we got on the air. So right now, until Mr. Pluggo gets back, hop in the chat. Let me know what you want to talk about. The agenda is on pause until we get the man back here. You said it. You said it. I will not deny it, but you said it. You said it. Hello, Waffle Slam. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being in the chat. I see our buddy Parrish is in there as well. Parrish, we're good. Pluggo's on his way back, so I'm going to one-man it but thank you for the offer. Appreciate that, my friend. Ashford, you are 100% right. Very on brand. Very on brand for Pluggo. But usually he pops back rather quickly. So he'll be on here in a minute, and then we'll get after this thing. But, yeah, an exciting beginning. I know before we dive into the wrestling, we're going to talk about Tom Brady. I know Pluggo was very adamant that we were talking about Tom Brady. Wordsmith, I'm sorry, but one of us showed up for work today. So I'm going to say what I want. Alex, if you want to hop in, you are behind the glass, but Alex, if you want to hop in,
screw it, let's go.
We can at least see how you're doing.
Hey.
Until we get Pluggo back in here.
Well, and let's stay on course with Tom Brady. I don't know a damn thing about football, but why not?
Well, if you don't know a thing about football, why do you want to talk about football?
Well, because, I mean, why not? Let's talk comparisons here. I mean,
unbelievable. This guy right here.
So I want to introduce you guys to our new producer, Pluggo.
Yes, Pluggo they have swapped roles for the week.
Between two beards ish.
It still would work. It still would work.
It's kind of there. It's dirty. It's I need to clean it up a bit.
Yeah. There's a party happening on the streets out here. I don't know if you heard that, but people are blowing horns and stuff.
Wow.
But all right, let's get this clown back in here.
Let's go.
Alex, thank you for hopping in until
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Nothing.
I'm going to go ahead and plug myself.
Amateur hour.
Nothing. Can't hear.
What a start to the episode.
All right.
What a start. Alex, you stay in.
I leave it to the. What's that?
No, you're going to stay in. Pluggo can't hear us.
Oh, you can't hear us?
No.
Oh.
Just what a disaster. What a disaster to start this show. He has no idea what I'm saying right now. Yep, gone. Wow. Hasn't even been, it's been 5 minutes. He's been gone twice now. I know.
It's a damn shame.
I think that maybe, you know what? I wonder if Spencer has something to do with this. He's like, you know what? You guys have been blowing my budget week after week after week. The one week where it's a kind of a tame show, F Pluggo. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe Holden Albright finally showed up to his house and decided to give him the what for. This is why he's having problems. He's wearing other people's faces to try and hide from Holden. And
yeah. Oh, that's my buddy Tim. I want to say hello. 20 years ago. Yeah, 20 years ago today actually was the Patriots' first Super Bowl victory. That happened.
Awesome.
So 20 years ago, unbelievable. But yeah.
Well,
yeah, should have spent Spencer's budget on some headphones that work. Yeah, yes, that's probably what should have happened.
Well, let's talk Tom Brady. From my recollection, this guy is a multi-time Super Bowl. Seven-time Super Bowl winner.
Yes.
He's been called the GOAT in his own right. I've heard you talk a lot about him. We've compared him to, what if a John Cena stepped away from
in the wrestling world.
In the wrestling world, I mean, what are your thoughts on him retiring? And overall, I guess.
He was the quarterback of the team. It could be a victory by Holden too. Maybe there is some chicanery going on around here. I don't know, but this has happened before with Pluggo, so I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But you never know. But yeah, for Tom Brady, for me. All right. Well, I was friends with Waffle Slam as well, but that's just clearly not a true statement. So, my thing is, he was the quarterback of the team that I root for 20 years, and in those 20 years, we were the most. Wow. Ed coming in deep right there. That's a deep cut. Can you hear us?
That's messed up, Ed.
Yeah, all right. Can you hear us?
I'm so sorry that I had technical difficulties like you've never screwed up in your life. Anyway,
I haven't.
You told me not to look down at my phone for the show, so I chose not to. And this is what happens.
You pressed the wrong button.
You pressed the wrong button, and then all of a sudden Spencer hit that red button and booted your ass out of here. That's what happened. Alex, thank you for hopping in and humoring us in the crowd. Appreciate you, my friend.
You are the anchor to this ship, buddy.
Aww.
But Pluggo Unplugged is back in the mix.
Yeah,
anyway,
unbelievable.
I'm really
Listen
sorry.
To Bobby. Guys. Listen to Bobby. Well,
yes, and get you one of these.
Yeah, look at that. That's a fancy looking thing.
You guys want one of these? whatamaneuver.net/loveca. Get you one. Anyway, sorry about that. There's
did Ronda Rousey point at your computer and set it on fire? Legitimate question. That's a legitimate question.
1000%. She's looking at me right now. She's like, shh. And I was like, oh, don't do that, Rhonda. But she was very impassionate about it when she did it. So
yeah.
What did I miss in the first 8 minutes?
Not much. I was talking very fondly of you to start the show. Like you don't have to go, you don't even have to go back and listen to it. It was like all good things. It was love. I said, you really don't have to go back and listen to it, but it was a lot of compliments and
don't lie to our fans.
I'm not.
Don't lie.
I'm lying to you. But Valentine's Day is coming up, so I was just spreading the love, how I feel for you. And then Alex came in to humor us, and we started talking about Tom Brady because I said you wanted to talk about Tom Brady. That was your idea, not mine. I did not.
I know.
Have Tom Brady on the agenda.
This great idea, and I go and I just have computer issues out the butt.
Yeah, so I'll let you lead if you want to get this out of the way.
There's a snowstorm going on. It's just a lot, Pluggo and buttons. Sometimes that happens in the business. Anyway, I thought we would talk about your boy Tom Brady. He retired. He is the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time, and that's me saying it, not JPJ.
It's not debatable. It is.
Yeah,
like
the dude.
It wasn't debatable when people still tried to make it a debate. Like it's been not debatable for like 10 years.
Can we shut down the argument that because you made it to the Super Bowl and lost, that's some kind of a bad thing?
Literally one of my favorite things. Well, he lost 3 of them. Yeah, he still had to get there.
Yeah, like
you're knocking him for making it to 10 Super Bowls because he lost 3 of them. Okay, your team. You would pay money for your team to get to the Super Bowl. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah, but you lost them. Okay.
we talk a lot of sports. We talk a lot of different stuff on our show. We're not just a wrestling show. And it was just like I said, one of the all-time greats retires. Love, hate him. You got to respect him. I mean, the man, 22 years, 7 Super Bowls. I mean, he went to 10 of them.
He went to 10.
He's retiring as the number 1 quarterback in the league. Like he didn't have like a down year. He
led the league in touchdown passes this year. Led the league in touchdown
yards.
Passes. Yes, and yards. And he's like, "No, I'm good, man. I'm done here." Like literally still a top 3 quarterback in football at 45 years old. And he was just like, "I'm out."
But
I'm out, bro. No, that is not true.
I want to say hello to everyone in the chat, by the way. Let's popping tonight. Keep those comments coming. We got a lot on the
best
docket.
Buccaneer of all time, even though he's not the greatest person.
Jameis Winston.
No, it's Warren Sapp. It's Warren Sapp.
30 for 30, bro.
It's Warren Sapp. Come on. That defense in the early 2000s with like Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, Simeon Rice, Rondé Barber. Oh, man, they were unreal.
And they did it with Brad Johnson at quarterback.
Yes. That was back then when you could do that. Like nowadays you can't win with a shitty quarterback. Like it's very different now. Like you might be able to get away with one like every so often, but like you can't win with a shitty quarterback. It's back then you could. Like, and this is not me, like Trent Dilfer won with the Ravens in 2000 because they had an all-time defense and nobody was going to beat them. And Dilfer was just the guy that didn't make mistakes, you know? It's and
I figured we'd round out the quarterback talk, but can I just say Joe Burrow is so cool.
Yeah.
Like he's
cool
just
Joe,
so
man.
cool. Like
Joe cool. He's
he could be the next Tom Brady.
He could be because he's we already know he can win. He won in college.
Yeah.
He won a national championship. He had like one of the greatest performances in the history of college football. He had like 7 touchdown passes by halftime.
Tim's spitting fire in the chat.
Yeah.
Tim's a man guy. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you know, he's from Indy. So how'd they do? Oh, yeah, right. That's right. They lost to the Jaguars, the worst team in the league.
The only thing that
they didn't make the playoffs. Yeah, that's right.
I forgot about that. Joe, he'll end up in the WWE.
He could. He's cool. He's cool as hell, man. He's cool as hell, and he's cool under pressure. We know he can win. It doesn't seem like the moment gets too big for him, and he seems like he gets it. Like they asked him a question about like whether his earrings were real or not, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I make too much money. Like they have to be real." Like it wasn't even like a cocky answer. It was just like, "Oh, dude, like this kid. He's still a kid. He's like 23 or something. Like he gets it. He just gets it." So.
I hope not, because he couldn't do a 2-foot drop in WWE.
No. If Vince McMahon can jump off the thing that Gronk couldn't, there's an issue.
Yeah.
There's an issue.
And let's end the football talk with this. The only thing that doesn't fit on Peyton Manning's forehead is our egos.
I don't mind Peyton Manning. He's entertaining. He's funny. I like his commercials. I think he seems like a good guy. Like he seems down to earth and funny. Just... There was never any debate of who was a better quarterback. Tom Brady was always the better quarterback. And that was it. So, but anyway, let's talk about some wrestling, shall we?
Hello. Dude, you look angry at the beginning of the show. Like it just popped up.
I told you don't have to watch that. It's just all glowing remarks.
You look pissed.
Well, it's almost like we had a plan. And then before the show started,
I don't know what it is.
The plan got immediately ruined.
We'll pull back the curtain a little bit for our fans here. So we'll sit in the chat in like the pre-show and we'll shoot the shit and everything will be fine. And for some reason, every once in a while, when the music hits for the intro, everything on my end goes complete. Like I can't hear. And then I have to reset everything. But today I had to reset twice. I don't know. Anyway, it was brutal start, but we're going to reel it in. We're here. I think there was a big pay-per-view this past weekend.
Yeah, we're going to talk.
I don't know how big it was, but it was
garbage.
It was big.
It was rough. It was rough.
I'll say this. I did not find I would say like 4/5 of the pay-per-view was like really good.
4/5.
Like I enjoyed most of it. I really did. Like there's things I didn't enjoy, but I didn't
accept that offer. Waffle Slam. I will accept that offer.
There you go. Make it happen. That's what we'll do from now on. Have people on standby when my stuff doesn't work.
Tim, we're diving back in, Tim. We're gonna walk through it. We're gonna have like a therapy session to start between two beards about the Royal Rumble.
Let me go with it. When Seth Rollins comes out in Shield gear, I was like, "Let's go!"
Yes, that was a high. That was the high, and then the match was great. But then they gave a bullshit DQ finish.
Sucked.
Bullshit.
Yep.
Absolute crap. I'm not even upset.
Seth Rollins is at the point in his career where he does not need to be protected. He could take that loss and you could still advance the storyline.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Sorry I cut you off, but I had to get that out.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
You've vented about this a lot this week.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So he comes out. Oh boy.
This show is
wrong night for this, brother.
Rails.
Get that kid out of here. I don't get him out of here.
What is going on?
I don't want to see him. And I like kids. No, I'm just kidding. So Rollins comes out. You hear the Shield music, and it's awesome. You hear the Shield music, and you're like, "Oh, this is cool." You see Roman's reaction to it. He's like it felt like Rollins said, is in Roman's head. Like he was kind of in Roman's head a little bit. Like it was bothering Roman, which is good because Roman for the most part, we've seen him angry throughout this reign, but we haven't seen him like
shook almost.
Shook. I think that's a good word. So we haven't seen him shook, and it felt like Rollins at times, and even on the way out to the match at Saturday at the Rumble, Reigns was shook. Like he was like, "Whoa, you son of a," like you're.
I thought something was up when he came out first.
No, they do that sometimes. I don't. But
I was like, okay, like I figured you would have went Rome, but it was
so good.
They didn't need to DQ that match. It was fine, and
I think it is. I think it is a beard in training in the background, trying to get the reps in. He's stolen the show a few times. I just wish that we talked about it in pre. So I knew.
He's a run-in type of guy. He's your typical like, oh hey, what are you doing here? Like surprise.
Yeah.
He didn't. If he would have been in his shirt, which we did get him one of these.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. That would have been cool at least.
Then we'd put him on. But he's on one today. He's kind of had a rough day. I've had a rough day, so he needs to stay away tonight.
Yeah.
It's been a long one.
Anyway. Speaking of that hoodie, let's show the people that hoodie right there. Let's talk a little bit about that hoodie.
Look at that.
Oh yeah. We can put the link. We can put the link up in the bottom of the screen. But you can go to.
Are you guys having issues with the Rumble? Ease your pain. Get you one.
Look at how beautiful that hoodie is. You can buy that in a shirt, a hoodie, a sweatshirt. You can buy it in a onesie.
Yeah, if you got kids,
you got a little baby. You got a little one. You can buy a onesie. It's awesome.
JPJ would love your kid then.
Oh, dude. You go to whatamaneuver.net/collection/love-wrestling-ca. You can buy that Between Two Beards one. We also have one that says Blow in the Budget. We have our Live, Laugh, Love Wrestling shirt. We have our standard Love Wrestling shirt. Astrid, a fan of the show, she has a shirt, the Natural shirt. We have more designs coming soon. What a Maneuver is a really good company. They have a really good social media presence. Follow them on Twitter. Yeah. But go there and buy some B2B merch. Give us that money. Support us, will you? We love doing this for you guys. Help us out, will you?
I said, give us a like in the chat if you want a shirt with Angry Spencer on it.
Yes, that's the next goal. That's the next goal is we get a shirt somewhere involved with like an Angry Spencer or Spencer saying, we'll see you in our office. Like, that's what I want. See you.
If you want it, let us know. Back to this Rumble now that we've got the beautifulness that is our merch.
Here's the thing. Rollins, like you said, Reigns just should have beat him. If you're keeping the title on Reigns, why do you need to do a DQ? Just have Reigns get the best of him and win the match, and then Seth Rollins is still Seth freaking Rollins. It doesn't matter. You don't need to do that. And what you did was you had the match. I would say arguably the match that most people thought going on the show, besides the Rumbles, would be the best match of the night.
Yeah,
and it ended in a bullshit finish. And I wouldn't care as much if we didn't see bullshit finishes all the time.
Yeah.
Like if this DQ at the Rumble was the first time that we saw a DQ in a big match like that in like 3 or 4 months, I'd be like, oh, damn, all right, that's different. But when every other match on Raw, SmackDown, everywhere is a DQ or a bullshit roll-up finish or this or that, there's nothing special about that finish at the Royal Rumble. That's just another regular booking decision that they constantly make.
Yeah.
And that's where I get frustrated.
It was different for Roman because Roman doesn't need to do that because he's so dominant that he usually figures out a way to get it done. But like you said, you do this 2 times a night, every night for the last 5 years. It's a pain in the ass and it doesn't sit. And these two should be so big. And when we find out later, if you're just going to go back to what you were doing, have somebody take a loss. Like, it's okay. Like, have Rollins go out on his back. No big deal. That's what we all expected anyway. So how do you continue? Let's just move on. I don't want to keep talking because it was like you said, it was like the best match of the night, and it was just
a very underwhelming finish. Yeah. And then we get the Women's Rumble match, which was clearly the better of the 2 Rumble matches, but it's still... I enjoyed it. Like, I think I enjoyed it more than a lot of people enjoyed it, but it still was not it. It still was not that.
There was just questionable decisions. Like they did Melina dirty for having her come in.
She was but like Sasha Banks comes out number 1, and I'm like, all right, cool. Sasha Banks, like, cool. All right, that's a good number 1. She's gonna go the distance here. Like, she's gonna go Final 4. Like, I expect her, and she just got eliminated in like nothing.
That's
fact. Why is that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe that's why my whole week has been off.
Yeah, I mean, because the Rumble, which is the event that we
all love,
get the most excited for on the WWE calendar, stunk. Yeah. Yes, I agree. I agree with Have Guy. Women's Rumble was better, but it was still it was mediocre. Nothing in either Rumble, and we'll talk about them individually. Yes, I will agree with Turnbuckle. That was easily the high point of the match for me. The right to censor. She comes out looking the same. She looked the same. She's like 60 years old. And she looked the exact same.
I know what she's on.
Did not even look like she aged a bit. And she comes out.
But if Ivory's your high point of your Royal Rumble, that's no disrespect to her. But
yes, that is a problem.
And then like Sasha coming in at 1 to just kind of get like
just gets dumped out before number 10 even comes out. And it was like the elimination meant nothing. It was a nothing elimination. It felt like no care. Like so the Royal Rumble to me is for 2 things. It's for the surprises and the returns that everyone gets jacked up for. And it's also to like continue or build stories heading to WrestleMania. And the second part of that, neither Rumble match did any of that. Like, there was nothing happened. There were no I don't know. It just felt very empty. Like, both the Rumble matches were empty. There was no substance to either of them. And it was just very disappointing. The men's was a whole different level, and we'll talk about it. But, like, it just felt.
And it was odd that Brie eliminated Nikki. Like, and they, like, what Brie did? Like, just odd. It was just
it's like
odd decisions where you could have made like stories out of these things. And then the only bright spot for me, like in the terms of like surprises, was that Aaliyah lasted as long as she did. Like, I thought for sure she was getting dumped on her head pretty early, but they gave her some time. So good for them. It just, and then basically we knew how it was. They knew how it was going to end, and the rest of it didn't matter.
Yeah, and the Mickie James was good. They came out, she came out to Hardcore Country. She had the Impact title. They said Impact Women's Champion, and she lasted a good while. She got eliminated by Lita, another legend.
Her.
Like, but like that was cool. And she got a good pop, and that crowd was in on her, obviously, as they should be. That was a cool moment. I had no problem with that. I thought Rhea Ripley looked good in this Royal Rumble match. Bianca was in it for 47 minutes. She eliminated one person.
I said she was going to get 9.
Yeah. One elimination. She's in there for almost 50 minutes. One elimination. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, this whole thing was like, yeah, there was cool moments, but nobody like stood out and stole this thing. Like, because, like I said, you have Ronda come out, and you have
28
at 28, and when she comes out, she's winning. So they were just like, it doesn't matter what else happens. We're going for the moment instead of building some stories within our women's division. Here's your shot.
So my problem, and then another part of the Rumble that bothered me. The Bellas come back. Good to see them. Great. I hope they stick around at least through Mania. Maybe it seems like they maybe will be involved in the tag team picture. Maybe we'll see.
Somebody needs to be. That tag division in the women's is
rough. And then we get Sarah Logan, who comes back, and that was cool. And we see Sarah Logan and her and Liv have like this moment in the ring for a split second, and the Bellas eliminate them.
Yeah.
And then they're like calling them losers and like clearly like possibly setting up a match like Riot Squad reunion versus Bellas, which I'm fine for. That's fine. But like, why WWE does this thing where they put the legends over the current talent who are there all the time? Like, why couldn't they get in a fight, and why couldn't Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan eliminate the Bellas? Because Liv Morgan is there every week. And then you build the match, because maybe the Bellas get pissed, like, what the hell? And then you build the match. Like, why did you make your current roster look like they just never live up to the past?
Yeah, have the Bellas show up on Monday and be like, we built this division, and then go from there. Instead, it's like, well,
unless you're Randy Orton, but Randy Orton's been wrestling for so long that you look at him and you're like, he is the past. He's the past and now still. Yeah. Because he's been around so long. And Randy Orton, I would argue, might be at his best now. He is unreal. He is unreal right now, Randy Orton.
And I hate to say this because I love the Bella twins, but
I do too. I'm pro Bellas.
You just made Liv look like a chump to some people that haven't wrestled in 5 years. Like, what are you doing?
You could have got to that story
the opposite way.
The opposite way, or just by making your current talent, who you need to make stars, you need to make a star. You could have got to there by making them look good instead of making them look like the imbeciles in this situation. And they always do that. Like, the legends are always more important than the current roster. And that's how you never build stars. And I think that was true. You could see, because Fit Finley was brought in, because I don't know why, but Tyson Kidd has not been booking some of the ladies like he used to be involved as an agent and whatnot. And yes, that is true. With Liv specifically, they do always make Liv look like a chump. It's very bizarre.
I don't know
very bizarre.
Because everybody wants her to shine.
Like,
except for the WWE creative team. I don't know what she's doing wrong, but I don't like to see people. If I was her, I would have asked for my release tomorrow. I'd be like, I want out. It's
just really frustrating. And Fightful Select had and I think Hab nails it again. He says WWE seems to rely on big name legends and struggles to make new stars. And that's the problem, because WWE always reminds you that the legends are more important than the current stars.
Especially given the way this Rumble went, this was an opportunity to build somebody.
Yes.
Anybody you could have Bianca go back to back and put her on the match.
That's what I would have done.
Ronda didn't need to be in this thing. She didn't need to win it. She's a big enough name that you just say Ronda's back. She wants whoever didn't get picked from the Rumble winner. And you've set up 2 stories, and you made a star, and you got your big name. That's what I don't understand. Same thing with Brock. He didn't need to do that. All he has to do is show up on Monday night and grab Adam Pearce by the neck and say, give me Roman. I don't care what I have to do. And then you take the men's winner and you give him to Lashley. Like, that's all you have to do. And you've set up 2 stories, 2 new stars, and your main event players are still doing their thing. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't try to do that in this spot, like especially this year, because like I said, you've got them in the bag. Just let them do their thing. Give me Belair back to back. Hell, I would have been happy with Charlotte winning because she's never won the damn thing.
Yes, she has.
The Rumble? I don't remember.
Yeah, she won it like 2 years ago.
I thought Becky beat her. I thought she never pulled it off.
No, she won 2020.
Are you
The
sure?
McIntyre year. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then she went after NXT. She went after Rhea Ripley. And then they did, the Legends and the Women's Rumble did not last long. A lot of them were in and out real quick. Just like, Lita lasted a while. Michelle McCool lasted a while. That was really it. And Mickie James lasted a while. But the rest of them were like really in and out. Really in and out. My thing, and you just said it, Pluggo.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about
she went
the
to
Ripley
NXT,
thing.
and then remember Triple H was like,
Sorry.
"Let it play out,
My
let it
bad.
play out,"
And
I
it
was
never
like,
played out. Yeah, that's right.
Rhea should have been.
That's because Rhea actually kind of challenged her. That's why I forget it, because I'm like, oh yeah, because Rhea came out and was like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so
that's when we cared about NXT.
God, that's a whole nother thing.
I miss the black.
I do too.
Anyway, good call.
It's just, for me, it's just one of those things, and you just said it, so I'm not going to go into a long form thing, but I believe that both people that won these Royal Rumbles did not need to win the Royal Rumbles to have the matches they're going to have at WrestleMania. That's just the bottom line. Ronda Rousey comes back on a Raw, on a SmackDown, and says, "Hey, I'm back, and I want to fight Becky, or I want to fight Charlotte." She's Ronda friggin' Rousey. She gets the match. Like, there's no, and the way that the night went, and I agree with Spencer on the Love Wrestling account here, where Ronda is going to challenge Charlotte, and I think that is silly. She should go after Becky. However, the report is she signed a year contract, and it includes 2 Mania matches, and the report is that it's going to be Charlotte this year and Becky next year. And then, so maybe they'll build around. I don't know. Maybe they want.
Ecto guy is not happy with that.
Yeah,
he's doing some not safe for work stuff.
Maybe. And again, we got to talk about maybe. I think if when Ronda eventually fights Becky Lynch, I think Becky Lynch should be the man again. I think it should be versus the man Becky Lynch, not the big time Bex.
They should want to make things as big as possible. Absolutely 100% Spency love. But they need to start building some other stuff, because eventually who's going to be the legend in like 10 years? Becky and Charlotte?
Yeah, the four horsewomen.
But who are they going to fight? Who's the upcoming star that they're making? They're not.
Yeah. And it's just like
I want them to do this, especially in the women's division.
Yeah.
I want them to build past the 6 that they have and start giving us some more. This was your opportunity. Ronda can do whatever Ronda wants to do, and I'm okay with Ronda being back. I'm not an anti-Ronda person. I like Ronda Rousey. I thought she had a hell of a run. I just think she didn't need it. She didn't need this run. Oh, she's got to pave her way to wrestle. No, she doesn't. She's Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, she's Ronda Rousey. Like, what are we talking about? She's
if
Ronda
she loses
Rousey.
the Rumble, she's getting a spot anyway.
Yeah. And then, obviously there were matches in between the women and men's Rumble, but like when it came to the men's Rumble too, it's one of those things where like they had the WWE title match. It was Lesnar versus Lashley, and Roman Reigns comes out and spears Lesnar. And then we see Paul Heyman hand Roman the belt, and we found out it was all a ruse. And Heyman was with Roman the whole time, which I think they probably would have just done it day one had Roman not tested positive for COVID. They would have just done it there in the match between those two. But they did it this way. And, which I'm a fan of a big swerve if you didn't see the Heyman part of it coming. I was pretty sure Roman was going to get involved and cost Lesnar the title. But I was kind of like, oh, all right. Heyman's like, it was cool to see this swerve. I'm all for a swerve. But what happened at the end of that match, to me, justified Brock Lesnar getting a rematch or getting a match against Roman for the title, which means that Lesnar did not have to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Because this guy cost me the title, so guess what? I'm coming after your title now. That is enough justification for that match to happen.
Plus, having Brock, even if you wanted to be like, oh, Paul Heyman's back with Roman and Paul's working behind the scenes to keep Brock away from Roman, you could play that up for the next month and and then you could have thrown Brock. Hey, here's an elimination.
Yeah, get in the chamber.
Maybe somehow you screw Brock out of the chamber. You just keep Brock at bay, and eventually he pisses Roman off to the point where it just happens, or something where you could again give Lashley a challenger in the Rumble and have Brock get screwed over, keep it till it's just a boiling point thing. Now it's like, all right, we know what's going to happen. But then they put him in the elimination chamber too, which, you know what? I'm pro Brock Lesnar too. I'm not anti-Brock.
I'm not anti-Brock at all. I love Brock.
Spencer thinks that lumberjack Brock can do no wrong. That's all this is.
No, this is not Brock's fault.
No,
I have no
not.
problem with Brock.
No.
Like, I love this current iteration of Brock Lesnar. I am all in on this current Brock Lesnar. I just think we could have gotten to Brock and Roman at Mania without Brock winning the Royal Rumble. And then you could have made somebody new or just gave somebody an opportunity. Like, would we be upset about, Big E and Lashley at Mania for the title if they would have given it to Big E? Would we be upset if Rollins came back and entered and won the Rumble and went after Lashley? Like, there's other ways we could have done things. And again, I'm fine with Lesnar. I'm fine with Lesnar and Roman. I'm fine with it. I'm not arguing against that either. I like Heyman in the middle of it. I like this whole thing we're doing. I see Jeremy popped in the chat earlier. Hello, Jeremy. And I saw a couple people talking about Dan Lambert and Brady Rhodes from Last Night on Dynamite. We're going to talk about Dynamite a little later.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about that.
Put Spencer, the Mania matches, it requires a Royal Rumble win or Elimination Champion win. Yeah, but there's 2 title belts, so you can't have 2 Royal Rumble winners. We're saying give it to somebody else to take on the WWE Championship, give them the Royal Rumble rub, and then give Lesnar the Elimination Chamber win, or give him some. He doesn't need it. He didn't need it. It's fine that he won. I love this iteration of Brock Lesnar, but he didn't need it. I'm just saying, give it to somebody else. Give me somebody else. That's all.
I mean, yeah, I just would have liked. I think it already is real clear.
Yeah, I think
he'd be winning Elimination Chamber. That's just how I feel.
I think he's going to WrestleMania as WWE champion, and they're going to do title versus title so that they don't have to pigeonhole themselves into some match for Lashley, and they give Lashley another title reign so it pads his stats. That's all. I think that's what they did here.
I don't know.
That whole 5 days, Roman had COVID. Everything went batshit crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't know what to do anymore. Lesnar.
Yeah, and I agree with Waffle Slam, where he says the Royal Rumble gives you an easy way to kick off an angle. You don't need to use it to continue one. Wasted, and he loves Brock as well. And I love, dude, Brock's one of the all-timers. I just think we could have gotten to the final destinations that we got to without the Rumbles being involved on both sides. This is not just a Brock thing either. This is how I feel about both. Ronda could have gotten to Charlotte for Mania without Ronda winning the Rumble, and Brock could have got to Roman at Mania without Brock winning the Rumble. And that way, instead of just having 2 matches, you now have 4 matches for WrestleMania. And everybody that you want involved in the matches, plus 2 new people that you could be propelling or giving another chance at the main event. You could have done that. And that's where it kind of was depleting for me, where I was like, man, like, I like these people, but like, there's nothing new. I don't know. It was depleting.
In the comments, let us know who you would have had win the Royal Rumbles. We've told you our piece as we move forward here, but let us know in the comments who you thought should win the Royal Rumble.
Bad Bunny looked excellent in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, dude, Bad Bunny is a badass.
Gave a hell of a Canadian destroyer.
Took an F5 like a champ.
He did. Took an F5 like a champ. Gave him and Riddle. He gave a great Canadian destroyer to Riddle. Shane McMahon. That was rumored that Shane McMahon was
Can we talk
potentially get it. Oh no, we're talking. That's next on my list is Shane McMahon.
Here comes the money, and there it goes.
Boy, oh boy. All right. Well, we said, do you want to talk more in depth about the men's Rumble, or was it just so bad we don't have to?
Honestly,
it was so bad. Bad.
I know this is Love Wrestling. We're supposed to stay positive, but I was like, because there was just nothing of any kind of substance or circumstance happened. Because again, they had Brock Lesnar in the bag. They thought that was enough to get us by, And that's where I feel like they slapped us in the face. Is they felt like Ronda and Brock winning were big enough moments to get everybody talking that they didn't need to do anything else in those Rumbles except get through them. And I just feel like you shouldn't phone in everyone's favorite match of the year.
And I agree with Waffle Slam, where he says he would have given Big E the win. That's who I picked to win the Rumble. I would have been more than okay with that. And it's just, I don't know, man. It was nothing happened.
But and if you're gonna
happened.
If you're gonna give it to Brock and you're gonna give it to Ronda, at least make Damian Priest look like $1 million.
Yep, no, he just got eliminated like nothing. AJ Styles, number 1. I'm like, oh shit. All right. Again, both number 1 entrants in both these Rumbles. I was like, oh man, these people are going the distance. They're both going to be in the final 4. AJ Styles was eliminated by Madcap fucking Moss. You shitting me?
Swear jar.
Sorry. Are you kidding me?
Buy one of these so we can afford swears.
Are you kidding me?
Right, man.
Madcap Moss eliminated AJ Styles. Why?
Are we going to?
Why are we going to get AJ Styles? No, they're on separate show. Why?
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, are we going to get that? No.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Spencer says I don't have to contribute to the swear jar. I feel like I was justified in that.
No, absolutely. Like,
what are we doing? Why? Like, oh, all right. Why? And I'm going to black out. I'm trying not to black out.
That's fine.
Why in 2022? Why are Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss running through people in the Royal Rumble? Why? Why does that happen?
Because
Ricochet got eliminated. Kevin Owens got eliminated. AJ Styles got eliminated. The unfortunate moment with Kofi.
Finn Balor
we were overdue. We were overdue for a spot like that not working.
Cesaro wasn't there.
Cesaro wasn't even involved. Finn Balor wasn't even involved.
Nobody from NXT.
What are we doing? Why are Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss in the ring for more than 30 seconds each? Why? What good? What does that do? What marquee match they gonna have at Mania?
Dude,
why?
Bring back Underground. Jesus Christ.
Why? Pat McAfee should have entered the Royal. Where was Corey Graves? He gets cleared to compete. He's not calling the Royal Rumble. What? You know how many people in the Rumble came into the Rumble and that was like, oh, that didn't matter. What?
All of them but Brock Lesnar.
Dude, literally
29 people.
Oh my God. Because it was so bad.
Because
Big E got they're making you talk good or bad. I get that, but I
get it, but it's you can make us talk good or bad and still give the other, not even 29. I'm not asking you to give 29 other competitors a story. There's going to be the Ivories of the world that just come in and get booted. But give your undercard stars, your Shinsuke Nakamura is your IC champ. Damian Priest is your United States champ. And they did nothing in this Rumble. Nothing. Like,
they've been building up the front.
And the final 4 was Bad Bunny and Shane McMahon. Like, I like Shane McMahon. I think he has a role. I don't think he needed to be.
Not anymore. He doesn't have a role.
No, he does not. He got
that role is Dunzo. We're going to be talking about that.
He's all elite, baby.
Oh boy! Whoops! What the hell happened? Oh, I'm just like, yes, and I think that's the issue. The final 4 of the men's Royal Rumble.
Bad Bunny,
Shane McMahon, and hey. And I am pro Bad Bunny.
Yeah,
I am pro because he's a celebrity that gives a shit. Like, he worked his ass off to be good, and he was good. However, that dude should not be. He's gonna go to WrestleMania and fight for the title. I mean, it's probably better than what we're gonna get anyway. I'm just kidding, but like you know what I mean? Your final 4 has Shane McMahon and Bad Bunny. What are we doing? AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura. There's more that I like that aren't at that level. Like,
at least
Ricochet.
make Brock work for it a little bit. He just had
Brock Lesnar was in the ring for 2.5 minutes. and he won.
He
2.5
just got
minutes.
destroyed by a title belt, and you're like, here's Bad Bunny and Shane McMahon. At least give him something.
Awesome. Thank you guys for the raid, Fightful Gaming. We appreciate
Fightful,
you. Go
much
give them
love.
some love. They're good friends of us over here at Love Wrestling. And go
that's-
subscribe to Fightful Overbooked as well. Joel and Jeremy,
Joel
great
and-
people,
yeah,
good friends.
Joel
So
and-
thank you for the raid.
And Steven Jensen, give him some love.
Oh, yeah, Steven Jensen,
He's
too.
having a rough day because Jim Hardball decided to stay in Michigan. Sorry, buddy. You know,
The
I was rooting for
Oh, don't
the Fightful Viking Raider Experience Guys Project. Is that what it's called? I don't know what they call the Viking Raiders anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
that was a rough.
All right, well, we mentioned Shane, so we might as well dive in because Shane made his triumphant return in the Royal Rumble match. He had been gone for a little bit, like we said, was in the final four. Triumphant return for Shane McMahon. Was in the. Thank you, Fight Talk. Thank you a lot. We appreciate you.
Much love, Steven.
Thank you. Yeah, Shane McMahon.
By the way, they just had AC Mack on today.
Oh, I know.
And that dude is awesome.
Yeah, that's
Independent wrestling champion. Go check that out. Anyway, yes, Shane McMahon makes his triumphant
return. Hey, he made it to the final four, dang it. What a performance.
He's the best
what
in the
a
world.
Performance by Shane McMahon. He is the best in the world.
That's him. That's all he does. That's all he's good at.
Yeah, well, Jeremy just said it. All Shane is good for is his entrance pop and jumping off of stuff. So, hey,
he said shit. That's okay. We got
don't pretend like we all haven't enjoyed the hell out of Shane McMahon matches before. Like Shane is fine.
Shane is fine. He has a spot.
He should not be in the final four of a Royal Rumble ever.
That man did more to his body than a man of his stature should have ever had to. Like he's there. Apparently, basically, this is what I think happened. Because I don't know. I don't have the insights like the Sean Ross Sapps of the world or the Spencer Loves. I'm just Pluggo from the block. You know what I'm saying? I think what went down is that Rumble was perceived to be so shitty they needed a scapegoat. They were like, all right, who can we blame for this? And they were like, Shane.
Yeah, so the story, according to what Dan says, it says the story is that Shane made a lot of suggestions about the Rumble and Vince was like, fine, and then overextended himself and tried pitching stuff for him to do at Elimination Chamber and Mania, and Vince was like, you're out of here. So I think
that dinner's going to be awkward tonight.
Yeah. Well, please. You know the birthday memes? How Vince always says like the nicest birthday wishes to everybody, and then it was Shane's birthday, and he just said, "Happy birthday, Shane McMahon."
He's like, HBD, bro. HBD.
Yeah, like literally HBD. Like you're whatever. Vince don't care.
If that's true, this is where like it's funny that Shane's pitching all these ideas, and they're like, they don't have to go with them. They could just be like, Shane, shut up. That's not happening. But they went with the Rumble idea. If he is rumored to be true that he produced that thing, they let him run that thing, and it was perceived so bad that they just were like, Shane, peace. Do I believe it? Do I actually think Shane McMahon's gone from the WWE? I don't, because I don't know. I don't know if maybe he pops back up and he's like, gotcha. It's just so it's such a weird thing to have him show up in the Rumble and then just fire him the next day. Was he even technically under contract, or how does he?
I mean, I would assume
he's in and he's out, and there was a whole stretch that he wasn't in the company, and then he came back.
So bizarre. It's so bizarre.
And then he booked himself to be champion and best of the world and all this. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's
and then
weird, man.
I read and again, our friends over at Fightful, I read one of their reports, and they said that Vince changed the Rumble and Turnbuckle Studios, our buddy Carl over there, might not be wrong.
Yeah.
It might be a work. Like, would it shock any of us if it was a work and Shane McMahon still had a very high profile matchup at WrestleMania? Of course it wouldn't. They view Shane McMahon, and clearly, apparently, Shane views himself that way too. They view Shane McMahon as one of their bigger stars, and that is the problem.
That up and coming Shane McMahon.
That is the problem.
Like
it has nothing to do with Shane. I like Shane. I was very excited
when he wants to jump off shit. That's fine.
Yes, cool, great. I would love to watch like a Shane McMahon match at WrestleMania is okay with me. But when you're viewing Shane McMahon as like, oh, he's one of the draws of WrestleMania, no, that's not true. That's not.
This is gonna put butts in the seats.
Good Lord, guys, what are we talking about?
Like,
what are we talking about?
But here's the thing, too. They put him in these matches, and that's fine, and he usually wins. Like,
of course he does.
Like, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
he's a McMahon, damn it.
Put him in the match and let somebody get over. Shane McMahon, if you're listening, wherever you end up, if you end up in AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, MLW,
he's going to end up not. He's going to be fine.
Let somebody else eat, bro. Let somebody else eat. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he's not the best in the world for nothing.
He's just sitting there, just snacking. Like, let those other boys eat.
Oh my God.
Let's move on from Shane.
All right. Shall we talk some AEW Dynamite? You want to talk some AEW Dynamite?
I mean, I think some stuff happened yesterday that was important.
There was a really, really good main event that happened. I'll tell you that much. What do you want to start with? You want to start with the main event, or do you want to go through the show in order? What do you want to do?
What do you guys want us to talk about? The whole show or just the main event? I thought the show was I mean, look, the main event was so good that the show's going to come out looking amazing. Yeah, there was good stuff. There was
good stuff throughout. I thought the tag match between Pac, Penta, and Malachi and Brody King was also excellent.
Yeah. I loved Hangman Page's little graphic where it said he doesn't even know his flight was canceled.
Yeah. Next week we're getting a Texas death match for the title between.
What's a Texas death match?
I mean, it's just going to be a death match, I'm assuming.
What? Well, that's Hangman Page said. He goes, "What's a Texas death match?"
And I agree with you. Shane did beat Miz. Shane did beat Miz at WrestleMania. That did happen, and that match was good. And Spencer says, happy to open this one up with an official company position. Fuck Brian Kendrick.
Can we talk about that? I wasn't.
Yeah, that was part of Dynamite. That was part of the promotion.
What are you doing, Brian Kendrick?
Well, I mean, that was a long time ago. That was 10 years ago. Back then, somebody should have been saying, maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Like, what are you doing?
Like, I've said some dumb stuff in my day. Don't get me wrong. I was an immature idiot at one point. I'm still an immature, but I'm at least not like Brian, bro.
Yeah,
I didn't hear that stuff.
Not ideal.
And I will say this to anybody that's like, well, they should have did a background check. He worked in the WWE for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And they didn't catch it.
The Texas death match is apparently just a 10 count. So it's basically like a violent last man standing match. And I don't want to address it too much, but like, it's just one of those things where
it's bad.
They promoted that he was fighting Moxley, and it got a little buzz because everyone was like, oh, at first everyone was like, oh, dope. Like, this was going to be cool. And then the video surfaced from like 10 years ago where he said some really like ignorant and hateful things. Not ideal.
And then Paul sent a DM to Tony Khan and was like, check this out.
Yeah. And then AEW did the right thing. They removed him, and they were had a powerful stance saying the views were abhorrent and ignorant, and they do not agree or stand with that. And it was best to remove him from the show.
Yep.
I thought they did the right thing. I thought they handled it the right way. It's just.
Yeah. In all seriousness, that's all you can do. Like, if you want to take him out of the match and then move on later and internally. But in the moment, don't put him on the screen. That's just bad press. But if you deem that it's not something, if you deem that it's something you can get past, then maybe later down the road. But I don't think he got his AEW match graphic, and I think that's all we're going to see.
Yeah. And Mike the Ref says, Kendrick worked in WWE. From what we have heard from people that left, that is definitely not a proper background check, to say the least. That is. Well,
I'm just saying, like, everybody's like, and. You should have looked at this. You should have looked at that. Like, they got to scour the earth sometimes to find some of those things.
Yeah.
And
some of this stuff isn't the easiest to find,
Yeah. And I think
that video came out.
Friend of the show, Sean Sapp said yesterday, the dude has pages and pages of like championship runs and all this other stuff. And then you finally maybe we need to do
Look
a better job of
the thing-
background checking people.
Exactly. The
but-
thing is, that video was made 10 years ago, and within the last 10 years, we saw him weekly on television on 205 Live. He was cruiserweight champion. He was wrestling on our TV screens week after week, and nobody was saying anything because nobody knew that the video was up. He made it 10 years ago. It was out there.
I'd never seen it.
I never saw it until yesterday. And a lot of us didn't. So, like, and I get it. Like, you're a company, you're bringing somebody in, you should do a more advanced search than like someone maybe like us would do. But at the same time, you can't.
What's
when
funny
it was
is
brought to
it
the
is somebody like us making that search and then sending it over.
Well, yeah, probably. And then, but here's the thing. But like Mike says, like, once AEW and Tony Khan figured it out or they saw it, they did the right thing. They said, "Oh, we can't do this. We can't have him on the show. We're changing the match." And I agree. Yeah, conspiracy theories can be fun and have good conversation, but when they literally hurt a large group of people or hurt people, others in general, yeah, those are not good. So
when you completely dismiss an entire group of people because you said it's not real.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
You're an idiot.
Anyway, Bobby said we should talk about the whole show.
All right.
I'm down to talk about it. Mox came out, looked like $1 million again.
Yeah. Had a good match with Wheeler Yuta, who was accompanied by Orange Cassidy. Yeah, Wheeler Yuta's amazing. Awesome. Who was accompanied by Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. We saw Danhausen out there. He had a really good moment with was that his coffee?
That's his coffee. Love by Danhausen.
He had a really nice moment with Moxley where he kind of did the point and Moxley was kind of looking at him like, what the hell? And I agree with Dan, considering that they had like not a lot of time to put that match together because they had to change it on the fly. That was a damn good match.
Yeah.
Wheeler Yuta is legit.
For people that don't know, go look him up and do some of his. He was the IWTV champion until he got, in the WWE, in the AEW. No, when he signed with AEW. So he's fantastic in the ring. Mox is a professional. He knows how to have a good match with just about anybody. So you put those two together. It turned out fine. Having the Danhausen stuff going on, it kind of maybe helped with some of the like rustiness of the two just kind of figuring it out. But I thought great opener. That's what AEW needs to keep doing. Just give us good openers. I know that sometimes you need a promo for big things, but just keep it going with those banger matches to start us off because it gets me going. It gets me hot.
And then afterwards, we see Bryan Danielson get in the ring. And he's talking to Moxley, and he goes, I've been watching you for a long time. I know, obviously, I know who you are, blah, 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 blah. And everyone thinks that, this was leading to a feud between Moxley and Danielson. And it might very well still end up being that way. But the promo is Danielson saying that he wants to team up with Moxley. And he mentions, like, recruiting guys like Daniel Garcia. And he mentions Wheeler Yuta. He mentions Lee Moriarty. Like, he mentions these young wrestlers that are awesome wrestlers that they fit that they can go that just great in-ring work, but they can be physical. Daniel Garcia is incredible, only 23. Lee Moriarty's young. Wheeler Yuta's young. Like, unbelievable.
Like, this is what AEW is doing that the other company is not. There's this crop of male and female talent that is young, and they're having their established talent put them over. Just mentioning those three guys' names in that promo, Danielson, I put them on the map. I can't imagine how many mentions they got on socials and how many clicks they got on Google and how many new people discovered who Lee Moriarty is and who Daniel Garcia is. It's just amazing stuff. And Mox to even entertain the idea is intriguing. Like, is he going to go with it? Is he going to deck Bryan? Are we going to get Daniel Bryan versus Mox? If not, if Mox isn't in, is Daniel Bryan going to just go ahead and take those three guys he talked about and start this?
I am all for a Bryan Danielson stable in AEW of just savage dudes, just wrestling,
just tearing people apart,
tearing people to shreds. I am all for that. And if Mox is in it at first, even better, better.
Man, like that would be a faction that if they played it right would give us so many storylines, and it would be something that would be like the elite level of like taking over the show. They could just, like Danielson said, TNT title, world title, tag, just take it all, give them all the gold. If they do the trios titles, those three guys as a trio under the tutelage of Mox and Danielson is just, I want that so bad.
Yeah.
Make it happen, Tony Khan. I know.
Oh my God, it would be so good. It would be so good.
Oh.
Then we get this segment, and some people mentioned it in the chat earlier. We get this segment with Brandi Rhodes and Dan Lambert, and this is brutal. This was so bad and so awkward that I, at points, I wasn't even looking at my TV screen. I was like, oh, God, this is so bad.
You know, last week when I had a mental lapse trying to ask questions to our guest, Billy Starks, that was better than this entire segment of them talking.
Man, this was atrocious. Oh, brutal. So Brandi Rhodes is in the ring. The crowd doesn't want Brandi Rhodes in the ring. She's starting to cut a promo, just saying, and then she like immediately the crowd's giving her shit. She immediately says, "Oh, it's so nice to be here in Cleveland," when they're in Chicago, getting the heat, doing that shit. Then all of a sudden, Dan Lambert comes out with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky.
And he came
at that moment, he came out quick, and he came out to a pop because the crowd was like, yeah, like, we don't care about Brandi, like, interrupt this stuff. And then he starts going into like, a little bit minor insults on the ramp. The crowd's kind of popping for them, nothing terrible. And then he starts going for the typical just low hanging fruit type stuff. It just wasn't it. It just wasn't, it wasn't of my taste. And Lambert does that sometimes. Jericho did it in the feud with Lambert. They just take some really like low hang, like it's just
Lambert owns
it.
He even mentioned like,
oh yeah,
I'm gonna get all this off my chest before cancel culture gets me. Like,
oh yeah, it's part of the shtick that that's what he's doing.
But the Brandi Rhodes, we figured it out, is the only person that can get Dan Lambert over.
Apparently.
Because when he's out there with other people, they're shitting all over him.
He's out there, and then Dan says it, like, the only thing that I thought was kind of like, was Brandi looks at Ethan Page, and she goes, "I don't know what you're laughing for. The only reason you're here is so we can get to Josh Alexander." I thought that was funny.
That's awesome.
That was a good line.
You got to get Dan Lambert away from these two. Like Ethan Page can talk. They can both talk. You can't be all ego and not be able to talk.
Yeah, I don't know. Like now Dan Lambert's involved with the Murder Hawk and Jake Roberts. Like, just let him do that and let these two do their own. Ethan Page can get those two over way more than Dan Lambert is getting those two over. Like, that's how I feel.
Like Lance Archer, he needs a mouthpiece because he's not the greatest on the stick. He can hold his own. And so sure, but like these two, like Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, like they're always in the background of this. And again, and they brought out Paige Van Zandt to confront Brady.
Well, and that was the other meaningful thing.
Further brings back Ethan and Scorpio in the background. Like, they should be shining in this moment. And it kills me for both of them because they are phenomenal talents. And Brandi, this shtick that she does solo, like, if she wants to do this, it would be more meaningful if she did it with Cody and they just like rain down the booze together. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just feel like I never know where Brandi's stuff is going, and it feels very forced. And I hate to say that because I don't think Brandi Rhodes is like the worst thing I've ever seen on TV, but it's just what she's doing has consistently not been hitting, except for the stuff she's done with Cody.
Yeah. And during the Hangman Archer segment when Jake was like, "Yeah, all right, shut up, buddy. Let me talk." I think Turnbuckle talk. Yeah. So Paige Van Zandt did come out. She tried to get in the ring, and her and Brandi were, all the rest of the women roster and some officials came out and separated them.
That was the quickest breakup in history.
Because it's not believable that Brandi would last a second in a fight with Paige Van Zandt. A second, her arm would be off her body. No.
So quick.
No.
As soon as she
you know who else wouldn't last a second with Paige Van Zandt in an MMA style fight? Me.
Me.
I would be tapping out immediately too.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
People think like just because she's not a great UFC fighter, that doesn't mean she's not a badass. Like,
no. If it came down to a real fight, she would destroy half the men's roster too. Destroy. Ruin. But anyway, I digress.
But Brandy's backstage going, "You guys get out there as soon as you can."
Like I can't. That's not believable.
Like,
then we already talked about it, but after that we got the Malachi Black, Brody King versus Pac and Penta match. I thought this was a solid tag match. I thought the right team won in Malachi Black and Brody King.
God, they look so cool.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool entrance. Like, yeah, the music's great. It's just it's a really cool thing what they got going there. I hope it continues. I want more members. Yeah. Well, yeah, but here's the thing though. She might have lost. Yes, in that setting, but compared to people that weren't trained to like literally fight a lot, she would still ruin people.
Yeah.
She would ruin people. Like if she's going to go up against Brandy Rhodes, who I'm sure, she's in good shape. She trains. I'm sure she obviously, but like it's a different, she would destroy her.
Are we ready for the Brandy Rhodes goes on this tear to look strong for the Paige Van Zandt fight? Are we ready for that?
Yeah, of course.
She's gonna start,
and then they're gonna fight. It's gonna be amazing.
Are we sure?
I don't know.
Don't lie.
We then get
Adam. Don't lie to the people.
Nah, we got Adam Cole cutting a promo. He said that he's tired about hearing. He said his record is still undefeated, and last week was a fluke. And the record reflects that Orange Cassidy got lucky. It wouldn't happen again. And he says that now it's going to be a little different side of Adam Cole.
Good.
And he said he's going to be wrestling Evil Uno on Rampage on Friday, and he's going to hurt Evil Uno.
And I hope, no offense to Evil Uno, I don't want them to do that and give Evil Uno a bunch of offense. I want to see Adam Cole just take care of business. I think if you're going to cut that promo, you got to back that promo up on Friday.
I agree. And then we got Ruby Soho going up against Nyla Rose, who was accompanied by Vicky Guerrero, who played a part in this match per usual. I thought this match was solid.
Lars Fredericks was out.
Yes, that was cool.
That was awesome.
That was cool. As they had Lars from Rancid. He was there. Ruby Soho went over to him, and they kind of had a moment there where they were jamming out to the theme song, which Ruby Soho, the song is obviously done by Rancid.
And then she lost.
Which I think they're setting up Nyla Rose to be Jade Cargill's first major opponent for that TBS title. I'm not thrilled with how much Ruby Soho has been losing on my television screen. I think you brought her over. She's a big star. She wins a lot. Yes, her record is good, but whenever she's on Dynamite or Rampage, she loses. So I would like to see that change a little bit. But yeah, for what it does, like Nyla's a former AEW Women's Champion. She has the credibility. Like her winning big matches is something that we've seen her do before.
And she's gotten much better in the ring.
She's
underrated.
Yes, I agree. I like her. Yeah, she's good. Vicky got involved to the point where Ruby kind of went out to go after her, and that ended up biting Ruby in the butt a little bit, and that's how Nyla won with the power bomb. And I think they're heading to Nyla and Cargill, which I'm for. I think that'll be fine. Two impressive women.
Needs a win over somebody that isn't Julia Hart.
Correct. Yes. And Mike the Ref, I think that's a good comparison. I just hope it's not true. I'd like to see both of those individuals eventually win some big ones. I would. But yeah, I think that's where I'm viewing her right now. She's 14-3 or like 14-4 after the other night. Like, I get it. She's a star, but like it feels like the big matches, and she made it to the finals of the tournament. So like she's won big matches, but the AEW championship match, she lost. The finals for the TBS title, she lost. This match, it's just getting to the point where we need to see her win a big one.
And you didn't have to book the match. And that's where I think like you can help Ruby out a little bit, but just don't book her in that spot. Yeah, Lars is there. That's cool. but give Nyla somebody else that's credible as well, and start building Ruby up on Rampage and Dark and Elevation and things like that, and getting her back into a winning ways, so that we could say, oh, she's won 10 straight, and not the last thing we saw was her take L's in every big match that she's had.
Yeah,
that's the problem they have with such a stacked roster with all this talent. Like, people are gonna lose, and that's okay. Yeah. But when you don't have to keep booking her in the big spot, you could have booked anybody else to take those losses and figured out another way.
I agree.
Because I stand for Ruby Soho on this. That she's one of my favorites. And she takes a lot of big losses.
I think Bobby's right here, where he says Ruby Soho wins on AEW Dark Elevation. Yeah, I think that's where most of her wins are happening. And like even me, like,
but nobody sees those.
AEW is my favorite product, but I don't watch Dark and Dark Elevation every week. There are some weeks where my regular shoot job or just I'm gonna have a busy week, I don't have the time to watch it. So a lot of the times, the only time I'm seeing Ruby Soho is losing another big match.
And no offense to Dark and Elevation, I watch them too sporadically. But again, we already know you're not gonna like appointment view AEW Dark because you know whoever the signed talent is going to win over the independent person from the area that they brought in. I think that they need to, if you want to get me more invested in those programs, is have some upsets happen, have some things happen. And like, you need to call them out. They don't even talk about that stuff on Dynamite. Yeah. They have the little scroll at the bottom, but you're not bringing it up. So you're not getting people that maybe aren't diehard wrestling fans invested in it.
I believe Dark is on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. on YouTube. And then AEW Elevation is on Mondays. Yeah. Both on YouTube. And they're good shows. Like, if you watch the shows, like, they're good shows, but they're not quick shows either. They're a few hours. They can be long shows. And like Pluggo just said, like, it's usually an AEW talent versus an independent person that they're either trying out or just bringing in to wrestle some. And
which is fine. What it's meant to be.
Because that's how you scout talent. That's how you find talent. That's how you build the next crop of guys or girls. And yeah, but you know who's winning all these matches. They're not going to have even the lower tier. They're not going to have Peter Avalon, who's under contract, lose to the independent guy from Florida. Like, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, Nightmare Factory talent, like Dan says as well. It's all those, and it's not a bad thing. Those shows are good. I've watched a handful of episodes, and they've been entertaining. It's just it's not something that I can get around to watching every week.
Right.
Yeah. All right. We then there was a backstage video of, I felt so bad for Jungle Boy getting his clothes all wet and soaked like that. Disgusting. Oh, in rainy, snowy Chicago, Jungle Boy gets jumped by the Ass Boys, and they throw him outside. And oh God, they threw him in a snowbank. He was soaked. Oh, and then Christian and Luchasaurus run them off. So we're heading to that 6-man tag, I'm assuming, sometime soon.
When are the Ass Boys going to get a tag team title shot?
When I don't know, but they better start officially calling them the Ass Boys soon.
Yeah,
I'm ready for it.
Didn't Colton?
Yes, I think he filed a trademark.
They trademarked.
One of them did.
Take it back from Danhausen.
Damn right, the Ass Boys.
Danhausen wasn't even on AEW, and he was getting those guys over.
Yeah,
that's the power of
good
Danhausen.
Stuff. It's good stuff. Then we get Tony Schiavone in the ring to interview Hangman Adam Page. They start talking about the Texas Death Match against Lance Archer. And then Hangman says, you know what? Like, that's next week. That's all well and good, but like, he needs to fight tonight. So he calls out Lance Archer. We then get Dan Lambert and Jake Roberts. Lambert goes off on some other stuff that Lambert says. And then Jake the Snake says some stuff. They both insulting Hangman. And then Lance Archer appears, and they basically just start brawling to the point where Lance Archer gets the best of Page, and he puts him through a table. And then he looks on the camera, and he says, everybody dies, and next week he's going to be the champ. And, I expect Lance Archer to have a 0.0% chance of taking that title from Adam Hangman Page. But I do believe they will beat the shit out of each other, and it will be a very entertaining, brutal match. So I'm looking forward to it. There is just no way in hell that Hangman is losing that title.
If we show up
No
here
way in
next
hell.
Thursday and Lance Archer's your AEW World Champion, something crazy to happen.
Yes, something, yeah.
Like-
And Dan says, I like how Hangman mentioned how many times he's defended the title since winning, because that has been a criticism. I do as well, and it made it come across that like that wasn't his choosing. Like he's like, hey, I want to be defending this more, but I've only done that's like twice. I need to defend this thing. Like I've had the belt for 80 days or whatever the hell it is. Like I want to fight for it.
But
And
again,
I thought that was good to
thing
mention.
you could do. Put it on dark. Put it on. Just do something with it. You don't have to always defend it Wednesday night, which you should. Yeah, that the champion should be heavily featured
of course.
on your flagship show. That's why we're on this show, because we're the flag. No, I'm not going down that rant. You know what I'm saying? We already know. But what I'm saying is, like, if you want to build that story, and it's not Paige's fault that they're not booking it that way, put it on Rampage. Put it on, and you've got so many people that you could give shots to.
Hey, what's going on,
What's up,
HCW? Good to see you. We're good. We're talking a little AEW Dynamite right now.
But
thanks for hopping in. Good to see you as always.
Paige should be that should be the one where he wants to be your fighting champ, and he should be your fighting champ, because that's his character. Like Omega skirting everybody and not wanting to fight, that's Kenny Omega. That's what he was portraying. But give Hangman these brawls. Let's see it. You just put him on the map with the 60-minute match with Bryan. You put him on the map with another banger with Bryan. He beat Omega in a just let him fight. I want to see him just fight people.
I do too. I want to see him wrestling way more often than he currently is. Way more often. We then get Chris Jericho, and he calls out Santana and Ortiz for disrespecting and embarrassing him last week by not tagging him in their 6-man match. And Jericho demands that next week we are getting a meeting in the ring with the Inner Circle, and please God, let this be the end of the Inner Circle next week. Nothing individually against any of those gentlemen except Jake Hager. That's a joke. I met him once in real life, and he was splendid.
Was he really?
Oh, he was such a nice guy. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think because we were normal. So, okay. There is a Chinese restaurant about 20 minutes from the Garden in Boston where they normally come. It's called the Kowloon. They've mentioned it on air before. It's kind of in canon. It's like a kind of a famous restaurant around here. And all the wrestlers go there after the show. It's known. Like they have a room roped off, but they always go to the Kowloon after they're in Boston. So one time we went, we got some food because it's like literally the best Chinese food in Massachusetts. It's amazing. So we went to get some food, and all of a sudden we saw Jack Swagger at the time sitting on the steps outside the building just smoking a cigarette. And we went over there and we just said, hey, and he gave us a fist bump or a handshake. And then we were like, all right, well, we just wanted to say, hey, like whatever. And he was like, no, you guys seem cool. Like you could hang. And then we just hung out for a few minutes and we were chatting while he was smoking his cigarette. And then some of the people that were there with like their books of autographs, like some of those type, whatever, fine, do your thing. But you know what I mean? They noticed him and one of them literally screamed, oh, Swagger's down here. And then you just saw this herd of people come, and Swagger was literally, his response was, oh, fuck. He was like, take it easy, boys. And he just flicked the cigarette and went inside. That was it. That was my Jack Swagger story. But he seemed like a pretty chill dude. I was like, to me, it was amazing that he was smoking a cigarette. I'm like, you have to be like, your cardio has to be crazy. Right. Like you are such in shape. You smoke cigarettes and you can still wrestle like that. What's wrong?
To this day, I still think that when he would come out as Jake, I call him Jake Hager, Jack Swagger, and he would do the fall down push-up thing, I still to this day doubt that was the coolest thing ever. Yeah. I could never do that. But that's how you got to approach wrestlers. If I could do a PSA, like be cool. Like they want you to come at them as like normal people. Like don't immediately be like, sign my thing. Like
yeah, exactly. And I think he kind of identified that in me and my friend that I was with. And he was like, yeah, whatever, you guys can hang. I'll talk to you. You seem like you're not here for you're just here to whatever, cool. You know? And it was like, okay, cool. Like, great.
Like, don't walk up to him and be like, I heard dirt sheet rumors is your
bro, where you going, bro? Yeah. Like, you saw my, it's just like, all right, he's eating dinner. They just performed. He's eating dinner. He's not like, showtime was over.
I always leave him alone. So I'm like, hey, is it cool if I get you to sign something for me? Like, I never sign it. Like,
yeah. But anyway, so we're getting a meeting next week, and I like the wordsmith. GFY is over AF. No, it is not. No, it is not.
Come on, Wordsmith. I love you, bestie.
Well,
but
yeah, I
hope
think
you're joking.
there's heavily sarcasm. I would say there's sarcasm behind that. We love him regardless, but
Yeah, we like. Friend
Batista
of the
does
show.
seem like a normal, cool as hell type guy as well. Very much like Batista, good Twitter follower. Yeah, or follow. Sorry,
So you get followed by Batista, bro.
that'd be
That's
dope.
awesome.
That'd be dope. I would love. I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully that's the end of the inner circle. I would like to see Santana and Ortiz either with Kingston or on their own, and like we've been saying this for a while, rise up the tag team ranks towards the championships. I would like Samuel Guevara to kind of be on his own. If Jericho and Hager want to remain friends and kind of do their things, because they're both like not full timers, they don't wrestle a ton, they wrestle sparingly. I'd be okay with Hager and Jericho kind of still being buddies and hanging around. But I think I think that's like 100,000,000% not sincere. That's what he said. So,
something like that. Basically, yeah, like the inner circle, it was a perfect opportunity to put the Pinnacle over.
Yeah, they should have just ended the Pinnacle. Should have just when they won, disband. That was it. You killed the inner circle.
Just walk away.
Like
you don't have to get cute. You don't have to have a blood feud breakup. And then they've just gotten to this point where it's becoming stale because. And I love Chris Jericho. He's one of my all-time favorite wrestlers.
Yeah, of course.
He's
one of the best to ever do it.
And he's gotten some of the craziest stuff over, but it's just not working now because he's going like the GFY, like like that's what the other company would be doing right now if they were going to ever go that route. Like his shit, he needs to reinvent himself, and he's the king at reinventing himself. Like you said, Santana and Ortiz need a massive title run because they're insanely talented. Yeah. And Sammy is already proven, and I've said this before in the past, that it felt like the inner circle was a vehicle to get Sammy over, and they've done that. It's time for Sammy to do Sammy, and you guys figure something else out. You can do other things with Jericho. You can find something to do with Hager if you want to keep him around. I don't know. I just think that you're right. Like this isn't it. It's one of those flat segments when it used to be one of the hotter segments of the night.
Oh yeah, and you just used the word flat. And Billy's comment here, he says, speaking of Jericho, he's one of my favorites, but he is flat right now. Yeah, he's not really doing anything of substance or importance, I think. And Dan says 2 years in Impact and 2 years in AEW have gone very differently for Pride. What is it? Pride and Powerful?
Pride and Power. Proud and Powerful.
Proud and Powerful. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, they've just been really bogged down because every time we've seen them on screen, it's involving the inner circle. It has nothing to do with about them as a tag team. And now, as we've seen over this last month or so, with them starting to question Jericho and Kingston getting in their ear and things like that, like, yo, you're one of the best tag teams in the world. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Like the last
and they're starting to remember that they're one of the best tag teams in the world, and they're like, all right, we're done with this stuff. Like,
was the feud with the Best Friends was like the last time they've been like,
that's one of the best street fights ever.
I know.
Incredible.
But what kills me is like they needed. All right, so when AEW started, they needed Chris Jericho. Absolutely,
of course, he was the perfect choice for first champion. Like 100%,
company legit from the jump. Chris should have been smart enough to know these guys I need to get over and I need to move on.
Yeah.
But he's like hanging on to this inner circle thing. And it's just, it's okay to have something run its course. I mean, DX ran its course. Evolution ran it. You name, and NWO ran its course. Like every great faction has ran its course and you offset into something else. Like it's okay to say, we had a great few years. Let's like just call it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do all this. What are we going to get, a best of 7 with Santana and Ortiz and Jericho? The labors of Proud and Powerful. Like this is how you get out of the inner circle. Like just let them go, man. If it's meant to be, they'll come back, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll see. But I hope that is the breaking of them. And then we get to this main event, Pluggo. And MJF came out when it was not. I'm on the Eastern time zone. He came out when it was 9:15, and I was like, "Ooh!" I was like, "They are getting time," and I was ready for it. This is a big match, a huge match that we got for free on AEW Dynamite main event. CM Punk's first main event fight in AEW.
MJF comes out looking ready. CM Punk comes out looking ready. They have the face off. They get the big announcements. And we got 40 minutes of what I thought was a very, very good wrestling match. MJF dominated the beginning. No, I'm sorry. CM Punk dominated the beginning, and he was kind of throwing around MJF and like he was playing up the crowd. At one point, he got on the turnbuckle and laid across it. Like, this is nothing. This is easy, for me. And then obviously MJF started fighting back and things like that, to the point where MJF, I don't know, it wasn't a wire. Was it like a piece of cloth or like a piece of tape?
I thought it was the tape that he
the tape, right? Yeah. It was the tape. He did it very cleverly. The ref wasn't paying attention. He wrapped it around CM Punk's neck, and then he put his arm around it like a sleeper hole, which was very clever. And he choked out, and CM Punk was trying to tell the ref, he was pointing at his throat like, hey, this is something different. And the ref was like, I'm not paying attention. Like, whatever. And CM Punk ends up, they put the three arms up and they drop, and CM Punk, they ring the bell about halfway through, and the crowd is like, what? And everyone's like, holy shit. Like, everyone's looking around like, what? It's over, blah, blah, blah. And then the ref ends up seeing the tape on the ground when MJF is celebrating, and he says, nope, not going to happen. This match is continuing. And then we got a whole second layer, like an extra 20 minutes, 25 minutes of this match. It was good. Punk did a friggin' Pepsi plunge off the top rope, obviously, to MJF, which I think Shivani said he hadn't done in 17 years or something like that. Like, it had been a long time. And then towards the end, Punk is trying to finish it off, and MJF goes to the outside, and we see Wardlow come down, and obviously there has been tension between MJF and Wardlow these last few months, but specifically the last, month or so, there's been some Wardlow's getting over. There's some real good tension. He steps over MJF and gets in Punk's face, and then he kind of backs away, and like it looks like he's saying, all right, have at him, CM Punk, have at him. And then Punk throws him in the ring, and then he kind of gives one last stare down to Wardlow. And then when Punk slides in the ring, the ref is paying attention to Wardlow, and MJF has the ring, hits Punk over the head with the ring, and MJF, in the middle of the squared circle, gets a 3 count on CM Punk, gets the victory in Chicago. CM Punk's first AEW loss. Perfection. MJF needed to win. He should have won. It fits his character. We are going to hear about this for the rest of time, that he beat CM Punk in Chicago, in his hometown, for his first AEW loss. He beat him twice, choked him out. They restarted the match, and then he beat him again. Wordsmith got it right. MJF is 2-0 against Punk in one night. That's a fact. I thought this was beautifully crafted. It was a wonderful main event. Oh, my God. And then the crazy thing is, the first camera angle where everything went down with Wardlow, you couldn't see him give the ring to MJF. And then when they showed the replay, it was from a different angle, and you saw behind the back Wardlow have the ring, and MJF just raise his hand and grab it on the floor and then play it off like nothing happened. HCW said it. Perfect storyline. What a match. Amazing stuff.
Shout out to Punk for rocking the camouflage Cena gear.
Yeah. And MJF had like pinstripe, like New York Yankee, like even though he's from Long Island, but like he had the New York Yankee stripes in Chicago.
Old school. That's callback stuff.
Which was funny because at Night of Champions in 2013, Punk was the heel champion, and he fought John Cena in Boston, and Punk had the pinstripe gear. He had the Yankee gear in Boston. Incredible. The little things,
Yeah, and I've been saying it for as long as this feud's been going on. MJF was the right decision. He needed to get this win and it was all because of what Punk was saying. Punk was calling him on all. You don't get the big win. You don't get the big spots. You never get it done. If he doesn't get it done here, then it's just that is true. You never get it done. So he gets it done against Punk. I hope that this now gives Punk a little bit more edge. I think we're now past the point of like the welcome back tour.
Correct.
It's
I
been
think Punk needs to be angry now. Punk needs to be angry and
CM Punk, but I love angry CM Punk even more.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good vehicle, like you said. Now MJF can tout this for the rest of his life, and if MJF, I don't want them to run it back. I don't think they.
I don't think we're going to. I think MJF goes to Wardlow next. I think that's where they go. I think he's going to take full credit for the win. Wardlow's going to get pissed off. Like, I helped you again. You gave me no credit. You still treat me like shit. F you. And that's where we go. I think at the pay-per-view in February, it's MJF versus Wardlow.
And I think Punk needs to use this as a motivation thing. He narrowly escaped like Lee Moriarty. He narrowly escaped Wardlow. He lost to MJF. It's like maybe this is like what you need to like. All right, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to start from the bottom, but I'm going to do it in a kind of edgier way. I'm not going to be Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky, and that I'm going to do what I have to do to get back to the top, because I think we need that, and he needs that. And if he just does the same old, I'm just going to go back to the bottom of the card and work my way up, like it's not going to hit. So give me some edge.
Yeah,
I think Mr. Pepsi Man.
Yeah, and I think that's where we go here. I think we see Punk go on to something else, a little more edge, or
give me Punk and Danhausen, bro.
You could. Cody, when Cody cut that promo a couple weeks ago, he mentioned Punk. I see a Cody Punk storyline at some point down the line. That would be a big time match for our next pay-per-view.
Yeah,
CM Punk and Cody.
That's how you could keep him face though, but you could give him that edge of like, Cody.
Yeah,
I've done this before, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. They could have some fun promos together, those two as well. But we'll see. But I do think MJF gets to Wardlow next, and then I do think, as you know, and you know me, I'm pro Hangman Page, but I think Double or Nothing in May. I think MJF has to beat Hangman, and he needs to be the champion of that company. Yeah, that's what I think they need to do. Hangman needs to be the champion until they want to give it to MJF is the guy that needs to beat Hangman for that title. He should be the next AEW heavyweight champion. If you want to make it till we get to All Out at the end of the summer, I'm cool with that. I love Hangman. Cool. Go somewhere else. Maybe they ride Wardlow out for a longer term story because of the history with MJF and Wardlow. All cool with me. And HCW is saying that Wordsmith, he says it feels like a trap because he's always interested. He gets interested in what he has to say. The Wordsmith is a great and special individual.
He's
is very
my
important to us here.
Best friend. Best friend. Like I love JPJ. JPJ is my brother, but Wordsmith is my best friend. I'm just here for CM Punk to tell Cody, like, while you were stardusting it up, like, I
was sitting at home.
Yeah. Like, while you were, I was more over sitting at home.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've been doing this for an hour and a half. We're going to be getting out of here shortly. But before we do that,
are we?
Let's talk about Manscaped. You want to talk about Manscaped?
Oh, I always want to talk about Manscaped.
You've heard me going gaga over Manscaped for the last however long. As you can see scrolling on the bottom, if you go to manscaped.com and you type in the code Love Wrestling, you will get 20% off as well as free shipping. That is right. The promo code Love Wrestling. You will get 20% off plus free shipping. You've heard me and Pluggo say it on here. You've heard me and others throughout Love Wrestling talk about Manscaped and how great they are. The Lawnmower 4.0 for all your grooming needs below the belt, gentlemen. They also have Crop Preserver, which is ball deodorant, which is excellent. They have
my favorite.
That is Pluggo's personal favorite. I'm a fan of the ball wipes for a nice little quick refresh during the day. You've been working hard. You get a little spruce, little pep in your step for the rest of the day. I've been a fan of theirs for years now. I've been a customer of theirs. They ship me stuff monthly. Yeah, they are a great company. They have great products, and like we always say, you don't want downstairs looking like Pluggo and I up here. You
No.
want to be feeling good. You want to be clean. You want to
Your
be
partner will
looking good.
appreciate
Your
it.
partner will appreciate
You
it.
will appreciate it.
Correct.
Like, I know that it's been taboo over the years, gentlemen, to not take care of your bits, but once you do, like, it's a whole nother ballgame.
It will change your life, and that's what Manscaped will do. Go to manscaped.com, type in that code Love Wrestling. Let them know we sent you there. Let them know you are digging our partnership here. That is promo code Love Wrestling at manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping.
Oh, I did it wrong today.
Yeah, you did. No.
It's been a day.
Stop trying. Stop trying.
It's been a day.
Stop trying.
20%
Anyway.
off.
Oh, the ball. Yes, Turnbuckle Talk just mentioning the ball toner as well. Also, very, very good. Very,
Because,
very
you know,
good.
you're getting hot and sweaty doing your shoot job. You know, sometimes, you know, it can get a little rough down there.
Yeah,
So why
quick
not?
little
The
spray. Boom,
smelliest
boom.
part of your body needs to be taken care of as well.
Correct. Absolutely. You can also, we mentioned it earlier, you see Pluggo's great hoodie here, that Between Two Beards merch. We also have a Blowing the Budget shirt over at whatamaneuver.net/collections/love-wrestling-ca. Go there, buy some Love Wrestling merch, buy some Between Two Beards merch, support
keep
us
that
and everything
budget
we
up.
do. Yeah, so we can keep blowing that budget. We also want to, youtube.com/Love Wrestling CA. You can follow us on Twitch. Give us a subscribe if you haven't already. If you are watching this on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. Tap that bell for notifications, not just from us, but from all of Love Wrestling. We have a lot of talented people with shows all throughout the week that are very much worth your viewing pleasure. RK Athletics, you can see in the corner below me here. Personal training virtually with a good group of people. You can follow them at RK Athletics 1 on all social media platforms. Great group of people. You're looking to get in shape or just get back on track, working out, eating better, anything you want. That is where you want to go. RK Athletics 1.
Before we go, I forgot to mention the WWE today announced that they made a $1 billion.
Yeah. No, I wanted to talk.
Hashtag free Ali, bro. How can you not let that guy go and you got $1 billion in the bank?
Yeah, I wanted to, because I didn't want to just end on the sponsorships. I wanted to talk just for a few extra minutes about certain things. So
the beard's going
I
into
believe,
overtime.
Well, no, it's all right. We moved to 8 so we could have the buffer of the 8 to 10.
We're
so we can kind
buffering.
of see how the shows are going and kind of decide when the hell we're getting out of here, because we do what we want, because we are the flagship.
The flagship. That's
we
right.
do what we want. It's part of the shtick. Anyway.
It's not a stick, it's a way of life, bro.
Yeah. What the hell are we talking about?
Ali,
That's right. Yes.
The earnings call.
We're going to talk about the earnings call at some point. I know it's important, and it seemed to be more important this last year because it felt like every day there was an earning call, they just fired a ton of people. So dope. I'm glad they didn't today. Like, can we get on that trend where you don't do that every earnings call? Thank you.
Tomorrow during SmackDown is still. They did that last time during SmackDown. Like, you're in the middle of it, and they're like,
Dan, I think Dan might be warning us about our issues coming forward. He says, "Oh, hey, you hear that sound? That's Spencer sending Holden Albright after you guys again." Yeah, Pluggo, you better be real scared.
Look, man,
bro.
Look, man. We got Sam Beal. We got Alex Kane. We got people.
Oof. Anyway, I believe when Mustafa Ali asked for his release, he did it publicly, but he did it very professionally. WWE said that they weren't going to release him because they found value in him as a performer. Really? Then why the fuck wasn't he in the Royal Rumble?
Why isn't he on TV ever?
If you find value in someone to the point that you're not going to let him go, where the hell is he? Where is he?
When did we make this?
We didn't. I think Alex might have just made that now. He spelled foul wrong. It's not a bird.
This is
that a joke? Am I missing a joke?
People know what they're coming for.
They know what they're. I don't swear a ton, but when I'm heated about things, I do.
Even I know that's not how you spell foul.
I just hate the way that they do things like this. because they come out.
Video Bros Network. Welcome to the
Yeah.
chat.
They come out. Yeah, Video Bros Network. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. And Dan says, why wasn't he on the Chicago show? Yeah. If you find value in the dude, where is he? Why isn't he on my TV screen? He's one of the better in-ring performers you have. If you follow him on social media, you can see some of the shit that he does when his training rings, when he's training. He is insane. He is insanely good in the ring. He can talk. He is a bona fide star. If you find value in him to the point where you will not let him go when he wants to go work and be able to do what he wants to do, then where is he? Because you just had a match that involved 30 people where nothing fucking happened.
And he could
nothing happened. And he wasn't even in it. But you find value in him to the point that you will not let him go. It's unbelievable.
And again, if you couple it with the fact that they just announced they made $150 million in just pure profit alone, or whatever it was, it's not like you're using him and working him to death to squeeze every penny out. You don't need it. Let him go. Let him live his life. Let him do what he wants to do. Let him be creative. You're a wrestling company. No. I know that you claim to be sports entertainment, but you are sports entertainment based around wrestling. The man is a wrestler. He's phenomenal. You have no problem using certain people. And if we need to go down the Jeff Hardy, we will go down that Jeff Hardy story. You use these.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. We could talk about that.
You guys, but that's what I'm saying. Like Ali, you used Ali when he was getting pops. You used him as the underdog story till he got hurt.
Leave that comment. Yeah. No, I want you to finish your thought, but I want to leave that comment.
Like you have no problem using him. You used Tony Storm until you realized there was nothing for her to do, and you let her go. Mm-hmm. Jeff, you used Jeff knowing he had issues, and then used his issues as a storyline to make money. And then the second you
made up a fake story,
then you thought he had a problem, you let him go. Yeah. Ali, you're keeping him out of spite because he called you on your bullshit at behind the scenes. You had him. Yes, he argued with Vince, so Vince is stubborn and not going to let him go because you see value. What value do you see in a guy?
Because they don't see value in him.
What value do I see as the consumer when I'm not seeing him? Like, what is he doing? Is he like sweeping up after the shows and tearing the ring down? Is he the best ring terror downer that you have? Like, why are you keeping this man that clearly doesn't want to work for you? And you're making billions of dollars hand over fist. So it's not because it's not because it's contract. Just let the guy go.
It's unbelievable to me. And Video Bro says, they are turning him into a mega babyface star without him even having to take a single bunk. Yeah, they maybe, but he's not gonna be a mega babyface star because they're not gonna use him.
Yeah.
The only reason he's still on the roster is not because they find value in him. He's still on the roster because he pissed Vince off. And Vince knows the way that he will hurt him the most is by keeping him, because the reports are that, or I don't have an exact years, but Sean Ross Sapp has reported that there is significant time left on his contract, like a while. And they're going to keep him because they know that's what hurts him the most. How can we hurt this guy the most? By keeping him and not using him and not letting him wrestle.
But
that's how we can hurt him the most.
Once he leaves, he's going to be a mega star. Once he's gone, yeah. And Tony did ask for a release, but don't act like she probably wasn't on. She wasn't getting used. Ali is an exception that shouldn't be the exception. If you don't have a use for him, get rid of him.
Yeah, they did the same thing with with Brody. They did the same thing with Luke Harper, where he wanted to go, and at first they were like, "No, we're not letting you go," and he was like, "You're not letting me wrestle."
I'm just saying the ring teardown thing. They are saying publicly that there's value in Ali. What is he like? Really good at cleaning up the locker room? Like, what value as a professional wrestler is he? Are they saying that he's valuable? They're just full of it. Like, and sure, in the WWE they have people tear down the ring, but if I was paying Ali what I'm paying Ali, I would want him to be doing something. So go out there and tear the ring down, I guess. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense to keep the man.
Just like he's just such a talented.
Reason.
He's a talented guy.
Is so backwards. I don't.
And it's just one of those things where it just doesn't make sense. The company has no.
Put Chris's Parrish.
The company has no problem.
My boy. You know you're our boy, but Why do you keep people on the roster that have you can throw
Correct.
away their contract whenever you want, but the second
they literally
went out,
do. They
you gotta
fired
keep 'em?
200 performers over the last 2 years. They can let you go whenever they want, and then you have somebody who wants to go because they're not being used. They're literally just not being used. They want to go, and they're like, "No, we're good."
Like,
Okay, well, you're doing that out of spite because you're an asshole. That's why you're doing that. Because you're an asshole. Because this guy stood up to you. Because you have bullshit stories.
You let
bullshit
Jeff
creative.
Hardy
You
go
don't know how to
on
run
a
a wrestling
whim.
company anymore. You just don't.
You let Jeff Hardy go because you thought he slipped up, but he's saying he's got clean tests. But you can't let Ali go because he wants to creatively fulfill himself. You signed all these people to spite AEW.
Correct. Yeah, because you signed everybody because you didn't want people to sign with another
They're
company.
not keeping Ali to honor some contract. If they wanted if you wanted to keep Ali and make him honor his contract, you know how you do it? You put him on TV every week and say, no.
WWE are always the bad guys because they have a bad guy running the company. That's why they're the bad guys. Vince has done a lot in my life. I wouldn't love wrestling without Vince McMahon.
Right.
I appreciate everything that he's given me from a wrestling standpoint. He's a piece of shit human being. Sorry. Hate to break it to you. He's not a good man.
They're the bad guys right now because they are going about things absolutely wrong. They hoarded talent to no end because AEW is not competition, but we're going to sign everybody under the sun. And then when these people leave or want it, they're the problem. WWE's never came out and said, you know what? We screwed up. We handled it poorly. No.
Yeah. But they didn't play it off that way. That wasn't the report. Yeah, that was not the report. They played it off that he was effed up at a show, that they had to send him home, and that's why they let him go. That's why.
And
that's how they played that up.
Yeah.
And I agree with Billy. There's a lot of POSs that aren't billionaires either. But yes, a lot of billionaires tend to be. Yes.
And you can't sit there and say that you're making millions upon millions upon billions of dollars.
Correct. And Matt,
and then it's budget cuts.
And like Dan just said, Jeff did not refuse a test. Matt Hardy earlier this week came out publicly and said that Jeff tested negative. He tested negative. So that was a bullshit rhetoric by WWE to protect themselves because they're evil. Okay.
But what company, if I go to work tomorrow and I tell my boss I don't want to be here, because I just
Warren said that on our show when he was on a couple weeks ago. He literally said, what kind of company, if I went to my job, if I went to my shoot job tomorrow and I told my boss, hey man, I'm not having a good time. I haven't been having a good time here. I think I want to quit. And my boss would look at me and go, no, you're not allowed to quit.
Yeah. No.
What?
Sorry.
What do you mean I can't quit?
And they're independent contractors on top of it. So this
you're not allowed to quit. And I'd be like, well, you're not really using me. Like I used to work 40 hours a week. Now I got 10. Like I need to live. Like I just want to, no, you're not allowed to quit. Okay, cool. Great. Good stuff. But it's just
wow. What's wow? Yeah.
I don't know. It's just,
I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And again, this is not, I still watch WWE every week. I want WWE to be good, but I want them to use the people that they should be using. And I want them to create. Yeah. Or if you're not using someone to the point where they are like, hey, I understand how this works, but this ain't working for me. I don't want to be here anymore. Let them go. They have no problem letting 200 other people go these last 2 years. What's one fucking more? Because it's out of spite. Because Ali stood up to Vince and said, I'm not doing what you want me to do. Whatever. Again, we don't know what the report was of what that angle that Ali apparently got really upset about is. So I'm not going to speculate on that. But Vince wanted him to do something that Ali was not comfortable with. Ali stood up for himself. They got in an argument, and now Vince is going to keep him and not use him to spite him because he knows that is what will hurt Ali, the person, the most. Is him not being able to wrestle.
Isn't it funny that the pro WWE release crowd is like, he should honor his contract when he asked for a release.
Yeah, but WWE ain't honoring those contracts.
Right. But the WWE
agreed to those contracts. No. And when they let him go, these people, they go, well, he wasn't being utilized. Who writes the show? It's not the wrestler's fault.
Yeah.
The wrestlers are there wanting to be used. Like one dude makes the final decision. So if you let someone go because they didn't have a good opportunity or they didn't live up to the opportunity they were given, they don't get to it's not like they get there and they go, all right, cool, I'm going to prove this to people. They know if they're not written to be on the TV screen, then they can't prove it to people.
That's why NXT 2.0 is what they're doing now. They're not signing indie talent anymore with Buzz because they just want to create these in a factory stars and be like, it's sports entertainment. They don't want to keep hiring the creative people like an Ali or a Keith Lee or any of those people because they want to be able to control the narrative of the stars that they build, which is fine. That's great. But then just let those people go that you want to be creative and do their own things and pitch ideas and go out and make a name for themselves. Like I said, it's this weird balance of like, it's okay for the WWE to release 200 people. It's like the worst thing in the world that somebody wants out of their contract.
Yeah.
Like, but
And
again,
it's the
the
same
WWE fired these people before Christmas, and everybody that is pro releases for budget cuts were like, it's the nature of the business. It is what it is. Well, it's also the nature of the business to ask for your release. People do it in sports all the time. People want out of contracts. They hold out all the time. We're not crapping on anybody else. Like, we're not crapping on, well, Shaq's crapping on Ben Simmons right now. But like, if a football player who had
wants
a stellar
to be traded,
wants to be traded or wants to make money.
OBJ wanted to get traded from Cleveland.
Yeah, nobody was
and some people were like, oh, it's OBJ. But like for the most part, nobody came out and said anything like wrestling fans say about some of this stuff.
But in theory, like a lot of these wrestlers, like Ali's in his prime right now, and he's
correct,
just sitting on the
and he's going to be sitting at home for another however long until that contract's up.
Wrestlers can go until they're 50, 60 years old nowadays. Look at Sting and look at all these, like the Goldbergs of the world. But at the same time, like there's a sweet spot in your prime.
I believe we might have to talk about Goldberg in a second because during the show, Fightful has reported that Goldberg, and again, we're talking about new stars and building new stars. Here's a perfect example of why WWE continues to just be in a rut, because the big news is that Goldberg's coming back. Hey-o.
Hey, he's gonna get a Bobby Lashley. Him and Lashley at Mania, baby.
Yes. Woo. All right. I'm glad we just talked about a guy in his prime that they can't find room for while we bring back the guy that literally nobody wants to see.
So we'll tie this all together. So Ali is supposed to just sit there and go, you're not giving me these opportunities that you're giving the Rondas, the Brocks, the Goldbergs of the world. So I just need to sit here on my hands and wait 5 years and just go, okay, basically, and be okay with it. Yeah. Like that,
and be put on, and the only opportunities I get on TV, I lose every time. Like it's just like, dude, like
I'm not saying Ali has to win every match, but
no,
you're not
but like
giving him anything.
Unbelievable. All right, well,
cool.
I gotta calm down. We gotta end this. I gotta calm down. Anyway,
this is like the most intense show.
Yeah, I haven't been this heated on air, I think, since we've started this show. I'm usually reserved. I'm usually more reserved, and I act this way off air to the point where you're like, why don't you act that way on the show?
And no, this is what, because this
you
is
should
what
be
I
more
want.
like this on the show. I'm like, well, you know,
it's I'm gonna just, while you're calming down, I'm gonna let everybody know. We value everyone's opinion,
of course,
in our comments.
I love Parrish. This is nothing against Parrish. Like we just disagree.
It's just that when we're passionate about this.
Yeah,
JP,
Spencer we didn't have Josh tonight, so today was JPJ. I was filling in. JPJ Unhinged.
But
that was.
We love everybody's takes. Everybody keeps it very professional in our comments. It's because we love this shit. We love this business. We wouldn't be sitting here every Thursday night, and we wouldn't have bumped up our show a half hour earlier to get more content out if we didn't love it. We want wrestling to be better, because the better wrestling is for everybody, the better it is overall. It makes this so much easier. But when companies do backwards things, and listen, for anybody in the comment section that doesn't think when AEW screws up, we don't call them out on it, because we do.
We literally were just talking shit about Dan Lambert and Brandy Rhodes like 25 minutes ago.
And they dropped the ball.
They're not perfect either.
But so that's what we're saying. So we appreciate everybody. It's been a fun night. It's been a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming. Spencer is not going to be happy with us in the morning. He's never happy with us on Fridays. The only saving grace is we didn't spend a ton of money today because it's just us, but that doesn't mean we don't have things coming up that we're going to blow that budget.
Yeah.
Like always. So JPJ, what do you got going on this week, brother, while you calm down and get your breath?
Unbelievable. Tonight was fun, though.
Yeah.
I rarely get angry like that. It's because we started off talking about Tom Brady, and I've been emotional all week.
And I screwed
I'm just,
up.
I'm just going through it, man. I'm just going through it. Like the greatest athlete of my lifetime. Just,
You're like, yeah. And
he's my dude. He was my dude for 20 years. We won so much. And like, it's sad to see him go. And it just pisses me off because I've always been, they should have kept him. And now knowing that he only played for 2 years and not 5 or 6, like it felt like it was going to be, that pisses me off even more. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for being here. You're one of our best supporters. We appreciate you a lot. So
I think
thanks for being here.
maybe he'll come back. I don't know. I've heard some rumors that he might.
No, that's not going to happen.
But I don't know what that's like. I don't know what that's like to have a guy for
you guys. You guys have had about as many quarterbacks in the last 22 years, like that number. 22 quarterbacks in the last 22 years compared to like what?
I just mean in sports. Like, I mean, maybe like my Rockets fandom, I had Hakeem Olajuwon for, but they never went to they went to the finals when I was like 7.
Yeah, they won back-to-back finals, man. Come on.
Yeah, but my teams have never done like that sustained, like we're on.
Yeah, but up until that point, we never did either. Like the Patriots were the first. The Patriots winning in 20 years today in 2002, technically the 2001 football season. That was the first championship of my lifetime.
I'm jealous you got that.
Yeah, that was the first championship of my lifetime, and then everyone just raised their game, and we had the Patriots won 6, the Red Sox won 4, the Bruins won 1, the Celtics won 1.
Yeah,
Bruins went to 2 other finals. Celtics went to another finals. It was like, God, like every year there was a Boston team involved. It was like, woo. But now, look where we are now. Now we're going to go through the next decade. Oh, the Red Sox are still pretty good. They were in the ALCS last year. But we're going to go through the Boston time now where like our teams are going to be average. We're going to be all right.
I might just switch back to Cincinnati because Joe Burrow is so damn cool.
I'll be pulling for them. I shall be pulling for, even though I do feel good for Matt Stafford. I do feel good for Matt Stafford. He was tucked away in Detroit for a long time.
Sam Beal, he's a big Stafford guy, so I don't think I don't want to piss off our muscle, so I'm torn.
Oh, we want to thank Video Bros. He says, guys, I have watched your show usually a day or two late. Fun to catch it live.
Yeah,
keep up the great work. However, before the end of the year, the new flagship will be Brunch with Bob. I don't know about that, man. We'll have to have we'll have to have ourselves a match before we get to giving up our.
If you want the brunch to be a flagship show, we'll just crash that party.
I mean, hey, I don't think we're going to be giving up that flagship role without a fight, my friend. But thank you. I'm glad you could hop in live. You were really good with your comments tonight. So anytime you're available to hop on live, you guys are as important to the show. You're more important to the show than us two. So we try to make you feel that way. But it's about that time. We've almost been doing this for 2 hours. We gave you the sponsors earlier. Again, manscaped.com. Promo code Love Wrestling. Whatamaneuver.net. Find some Between Two Beards merch, some Love Wrestling merch. Stay tuned for all the great content we have coming up. There'll be another Legacy of episode being dropped this Sunday night. We will have Sunday brunch this Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give us a follow. I do know this is Bob. I know that's you, Bobby. I know. Give us a follow over at. Oh yeah, I mean Pluggo maybe, but we know. Yeah, give us a follow over at Love Wrestling. We have a lot of really talented people over there coming out with new stuff. We've debuted a few new shows. We got some stuff coming up in 2022 that I think is going to be real exciting. So give us a follow, give us a subscribe, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Go to lovewrestling.ca, read some of the articles, watch some of Spencer's videos. I know we give him a crap all the time, but he's really one of the best interviewers out there, and he interviews a ton of really great Canadian wrestling talent and other non-Canadian people too, but he is a really good interviewer. His interviews are always informative. He's really good at what he does, even though we like to make his life a living hell on a weekly basis. But until then,
did you get in trouble?
No, I never get in trouble. You're the one that gets us in trouble. I'm the nice guy here.
I know.
I'm the one that keeps us on air. I'm the one that keeps us on air. But As always, we want to thank Alex. Give him a follow at EctoGuy87 on the Twitter machine. There he is. He's behind the glass waving. He helps us produce and get all these comments up and all that stuff. So we want to thank him. And until next week, next Thursday, 8 p.m. Oh, yeah, Wordsmith. We don't want to forget about you. Thank you for being in the chat. I'm sure Pluggo loves you.
And shout out to Astrid. Be on the lookout tomorrow on Twitter. Her and I might be doing a Rampage watch along on Spaces.
Oh,
breaking news!
Apparently, my invite got lost in the mail. Apparently,
Maybe
Or mine did too.
It's all right. But until
they're
next
jealous.
week, yeah, you know where to find us. 8 p.m. right here on this Love Wrestling channel. For Pluggo, I'm JPJ, and until next Thursday, peace out.
I'm supposed to press something.
Yeah.